Hello and welcome to the Gratitude and Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Middich, and I am so happy you found your way here. Most of you probably know me as an actor, but what you might not know is I have been on the most transformative journey these last few years. And I've created this podcast to share the discoveries I've had and things I've learned and continue to learn about this wonderful journey we all call life and how to attain joy, peace, and ultimately freedom. Because I think that's what we're all striving for at the end of the day. I'm here to share some tools that can change your life, hone your mental discipline, and empower you to step into the highest version of who you want to be. I'm going to share my own journey of how I got here, but please do not live from my experience. My intention is for you to live from and create your own experience. Take what works, leave what doesn't. There is no right or wrong here. Just do you. Just be you. Okay? Alrighty, let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. I am super pumped because today I'm talking about my favorite topic in the whole wide world, gratitude. Gratitude is everything to me. It isn't even really a tool that I use. Gratitude is my way of life. It's gratitude that honestly brought me to a place of peace and joy and such beautiful enthusiasm for every single day that I wake up. There's a reason why all the great books and all the great teachers talk about gratitude, because it is the key to experiencing the life you actually want to experience. I was first introduced to the idea of gratitude like 10 years ago with Rhonda Byrne's second book, The Magic. So this book is a 28-day gratitude practice that rewires your brain to operate and focus on things to appreciate in your life and be grateful for instead of looking at all the negative things in life. And each day is a new exercise, and it introduced endless ways to incorporate gratitude into my life. I read somewhere that it takes 21 days of doing something consistently to make it a habit, and 90 days of doing it consistently for it to become an actual lifestyle change. This book helps you accomplish the first, but the second is totally up to you and in your hands. The first time I did the 28-day practice, the first time I really focused on infusing my life with gratitude on a day-to-day basis, I experienced such magic and miracles in both my personal and my professional life. The synchronicities that popped up, the way things lined up so effortlessly, it was wild. Honestly, I was truly left in awe. This was the first time I glimpsed the understanding that your mindset is key to the way that your life unfolds, because your thoughts become things in your physical reality, and your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. For example, if you're operating like I was, from a place of fear, worry, stress, negativity, that's all you'll look for. That's all you'll see and receive in your outer world. And vice versa. If you're operating from a place of appreciation, love, positivity in your inner world, that is what you'll intentionally look for, see, and therefore receive in your outer world. So when gratitude is your steady state of being, you immediately put yourself in a vibration of receiving. And whatever vibration you put out, you call back to you. So for that month that I was doing the exercises, and a bit after, I was flying high. I felt invincible. But I couldn't hold on to it. I'll say that honestly, I couldn't hold on to it. And like so many other times in my life, somewhere between 30 and 60 days, I cycled back to operating from a more negative, pessimistic, the world is against me mindset. And then my outer life started reflecting that back to me bit by bit. This is why gratitude is the key. Gratitude keeps my mindset sharp. Gratitude keeps me focused on the positive things in my life. Because the truth is, there's always something to be grateful for in any situation if you're willing to look for it. The past few months, I've had some life stuff really thrown at me. And I mean like big fears that suddenly were staring me right in the face, literally. And even though, there were moments of darkness and moments of fear, it was also super cool because it was the first time I actually used gratitude in real time as the events were unfolding. And what I mean by that is I literally would sit there every single morning and write out all the things I was grateful for in what was happening. What I was learning about myself, what fears I was facing and conquering, what I was learning about how I'm showing up in certain relationships, what I was learning about others and how they were making me feel, learning what made me feel in and out of control, gratitude for my body being able to physically heal itself. There is always something you can be grateful for. And when you begin to focus on the positive things in those situations or in those tough relationships, you open yourself up to more creative solutions. And inspiration is so much more accessible. You've probably experienced that time and again in your life if you look at it. If you're stressed out and focused on the negative, you're usually thinking the same thought or the same few thoughts over and over again. Whether they're things that happened in the past that you're reliving or different projections of how the future is going to unfold. Usually, let's be real, negative or worst case scenarios. Or you're trying to cling to only one or two ways of solving the problem, and you're suffocating your creativity. You're limiting your ability to solve. You're not open to actually allowing another solution to come to you. Pretty much you're on a hamster wheel of stress. It's that classic thing where you're waiting and waiting and waiting to hear back from something, and then the moment you forget about it, the moment you detach, it comes in. It's because you're not suffocating the situation. Gratitude works hand in hand with that. Try and see what happens. If you're going through something right now, if you're going through something that seems impossible, sit, make a genuine list of all the things you can be grateful for. Feel that gratitude for it and walk away. Detach. Go do something else, something that brings you joy. And then see what new thoughts and solutions pop into your head. I think once you can find gratitude in whatever situation comes up throughout your day, month, year, life, then you have become the master. That doesn't mean you won't have hardships. That doesn't mean you won't have challenges. What it means is you have the awareness and the strength to see the good within that challenge, that you use that challenge as an opportunity for further growth. When you can eventually chuckle, even through sobs and tears at the drama unfolding in your life, when you can sit in the seat of self, in the seat of the observer, and just witness the events unfolding before you with gratitude, that is mastery. To me, at least. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm going for, you know? Okay, let's continue. Infusing my mornings with gratitude is the most important because it sets the tone for my entire day. Here's what most mornings look like for me. When I wake up, I usually take a few minutes before I even get out of my bed, and I literally infuse my body with the feeling of genuine gratitude. I try to leave my mind out of it and just relish in the actual feeling. After a few minutes of that, when my feet hit the floor, I say thank you, either out loud or in my head. Saying thank you out loud is more effective for me. Saying any affirmation out loud has a stronger effect on me than just saying it in my mind. It makes it more real for me. So then after that, as I walk to the bathroom, as I brush my teeth, as I set up my coffee machine, I say thank you or feel gratitude for all of these things in front of me. My morning cup of coffee and journaling is my favorite part of my day. I sit there and I write pages of things I'm grateful for in my life. And even on days when it's harder to find something to appreciate, I stick to the small things. The pen I hold to journal with, a roof over my head, a laundry machine, a computer, a dishwasher, the fact that I am alive, the fact that I woke up today and I got to open my eyes. And then after journaling, which cleanses and wakes up my mind, I then move my body in some way, either work out or I do yoga, I stretch, and then I finish it all by cleansing and moving my soul through meditation. But all of them are done with a focus on gratitude. Then, at some point in my morning, I take my dog out, and I say thank you when the sun hits my face. I say thank you when the rain hits my face. Whether it's a warm day or a cold one, all of it is something to be celebrated. Side note, The words thank you are literally my lifeline. When things are going great and everything seems to be lining up, I hold on to them. When things seem to be going wrong and I'm being tested, I hold on to them. I say, think, and feel them probably hundreds of times a day. And when I say them now, I really mean them. For so many years, the words thank you were so empty, dismissive. I said them in passing. I said them because I thought good people say thank you. But I didn't actually feel them, you know? I didn't actually mean them. There's a difference, isn't there? Between being genuinely grateful for something or someone versus when it feels empty and said out of obligation. Nowadays, especially when I'm thanking someone for a service, I try to make a point of looking them in their eyes, saying thank you from my heart, and really meaning it. Now, I know what you may be thinking. I don't have time for gratitude, especially in the mornings. To which I gently say, it can also take no extra time at all. I understand not everyone wants to take that extra time in the morning to journal. But are you going to brush your teeth? Awesome. Can you be grateful for that toothbrush? For the running water so readily accessible? For taking that moment to care for your teeth and your body? Can you look at your reflection in the mirror when you brush your teeth and think of something positive about yourself instead of something critical? Can you be grateful for water as it touches your body when you shower, the shampoo you use? If you commute to work, can you turn off the radio or music and spend a couple minutes infusing yourself with that feeling of gratitude instead? Honestly, it takes no extra time. But the change you'll experience, my gosh, it is so worth it. It's immediate, and it is so profoundly changing. When I'm not grateful, I'm grumpy. I'm negative. I'm moody. I'm irritated. I'm restless. I get bored. I don't show up as me. So making sure I start my day in the right headspace is something that makes all the difference in how the rest of my day unfolds. You know how it is. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed or you wake up and you stub your toe, the rest of the day snowballs in that direction. And every morning you wake up is a clean slate to me. And if it's not, if you weren't able to shake off yesterday, if you wake up grumpy or anxious, looking for things to appreciate in your life is the quickest reset I know to understanding, accepting, and peace over whatever it is that is causing a negative spiral. It just takes a little bit more work those mornings. Gratitude also brings me to a state of immediate presence. Presence is where I aim to exist as often as I can, because it is the most powerful state of being. In truth, it's all that actually exists. For those who may be unfamiliar with the term, presence refers to this moment right now. Not the future, not the past, this moment, now. As you're listening to my words, my voice, the podcast, the space you hear in between every word, every sentence. Only this moment is real. Both the future and the past are only figments of our imagination. They don't actually exist. For any of my fellow actors listening, you know presence. You know your most dynamic and magnetic work happens when you're in the moment with your scene partner. When you let go of the notes and the redirects, when you let go of your text analysis and character work, and you just be. You just exist across from your scene partner. You trust, and you allow the moments to unfold. That is when the magic happens in front of a camera. Those are the takes that resonate with people. Not the ones where you're in your head trying to recreate all the notes and remember what you did in the last take that people liked. The same is true for life. The most powerful moment in life is the moment that you're in right now. And it's gratitude that drops me into the freedom of the now because I immediately focus on what's in front of me. Gratitude has let me find all the joy in the simple, small things in life. On a walk to the grocery store, this is usually what goes on for me. I take in a bird soaring in the sky, a squirrel running up a tree, a couple holding hands, kids playing basketball, a butterfly landing on a flower, a worker cleaning up the garbage on the street, a bus driver that waits for someone while they run to catch the bus. Here's the thing. When you're grateful for what's in front of you, life becomes magical. Really, it does. Whether it's waiting in a long line at airport security or watching the most beautiful sunset. Whether it's waiting an extra hour because your doctor's running behind with patients, or waiting at the summit of Machu Picchu to take your photo. One is not better than the other. One is not more worthy of appreciation than the other. They are both moments to be appreciated because they are both real moments in your life. Gratitude also taught me patience because I don't have this aching need to be anywhere else than where I am. I'm not looking for some future salvation. My salvation is in the present moment because I know every moment offers me something that is gold. It's present moment gratitude that brings me miracle after miracle because everything I receive, I choose to receive as a gift. Real talks, I used to think a miracle was something material. A great booking, winning the lottery, affording a nice trip. Those are all miracles, don't get me wrong. But a miracle to me now is watching the trees sway in the wind. It's driving with the sunset in front of me. It's watching a full moon rise over the ocean. It's the censored lights in my hallway that turn on when I go to the elevator. It's seeing all the different types of humanity while I wait for my turn in the ER. It's a cold glass of water on a hot day. The other day I was hiking, and a bumblebee decided to land on me and take a ride for a few minutes. That is a miracle to me. When something I need is on sale, that is a miracle to me. All of these simple things. When I learned to appreciate all these little things as much as I would appreciate winning $50 million, I not only really started living my life, I have also never been so creatively inspired, and my life has never been so fulfilled. Gratitude also makes life fun. I used to take life so seriously. Really, I did. I used to be stressed out all the time and worried nonstop. Who said life had to be like that? Who said we can't hold on to our little kid wonder and energy even when we have bills to pay and responsibilities to live up to? I think that's why we enjoy being around kids. We get to re-experience the magic of life. But I'm here to gently remind you that that is available to you right now, literally today. You just have to choose it. And I would even argue adults experience more magic because we know the opposite of it, and therefore we appreciate it even more. Gratitude lets me appreciate even a dreary, rainy day. Why is gray so bad? I know people who prefer the gray days, who prefer the dark, the cold of winter. That's their heaven. Do you see what I'm getting at here? It's all a mindset. It's all perspective. Everything comes down to your perspective on life, and gratitude is my fastest reset to a positive perspective on things. For example, I was catching a connecting flight last year at some massive US airport, and my first flight was delayed. So when I deplaned, I think I had like 5 or 7 minutes to catch my next flight. I could have gotten off that plane in a panicked frenzy, angry, bitter, ready to blame anything and anyone for the outrage that this delay cost me. But instead, I got off that plane, and don't get me wrong, I ran. You bet I ran, as fast as my legs could carry me. But I was laughing the whole time, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is my situation. I guess it's time to see if all that cardio I was doing is going to pay off. And I ran. And I was so grateful for the experience because it was a wicked opportunity to see how I would show up in that event. I was grateful for the people who let me get off the plane first so I could try to make it. I was grateful for the flight attendants that were helping me try to make it. I was grateful I got my heart rate and my body moving in between flights. I was grateful when my heart started pumping and for that nice burn in my legs as I was sprinting. And when I made it to the gate, with like 2 minutes to spare, the flight attendants cheered me on and we all laughed about it. What would a negative mindset have gotten me in that situation? What would being ungrateful to the flight attendants have gotten me? It's not their fault. Even if it is, what was I going to do about it? And being kind to them, laughing with them, paid off a bunch because I got the best service and attention the entire flight. Gratitude always provides. Appreciation always provides. Always. Finding and using gratitude also helped me heal a lot of my relationships of all kinds. Looking for things to be grateful for in friendships and relationships made me appreciate them in a whole new way. It especially helps with relationships that aren't the easiest. I don't know, coworkers you don't see eye to eye with, a boss you find annoying, a relative you can't stand. Try finding things about these people and relationships that do serve you. There's always something. Are you learning something about yourself? Are they triggering an insecurity in you that you need to address? Are they making you defensive, reactive? Maybe you can't stand your boss, but you admire their drive and their work ethic to get where they are. They've built a life you desire, so maybe, just maybe, there is something to be learned from them, even if it's what kind of boss you don't want to be. I'm not saying you have to force yourself to be their best friend or to make a point of hanging out with that coworker until you like them, but you can still find things to appreciate about them instead of complaining all the time. You can know something isn't right for you and still be grateful and give it your best, knowing you're going to move on. Friendships, relationships, jobs are the same. You can be so grateful for someone and love them and know it's not in your best interest to stay. It's actually gratitude in these moments that allows you to show up with grace. It's gratitude that lets you walk away, even if it hurts, with compassion, with truth, and with kindness. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, no way can you live your life like you're in some Disney movie. Life is way harder than that. We have responsibilities and people who rely on us. And don't worry, I hear you. Some of the closest people in my life have a very strong cynical side to them. I wish I could say I used to, but honestly, I didn't. I've always been very open-hearted and open-minded when it comes to the wonder of the world. Since I was a kid, I've always seen the magic in the small things. And I always knew growing up that there had to be more to life than this, than the grind and the stress that we're so conditioned and programmed to live in. So I've openly talked to the more cynical people in my life to understand their perspective, because I had never lived in their shoes. And I think it's really easy to say, well, you just do it. It's mental discipline. Think more positive thoughts. Do more positive things. But what if you don't know that experience? What if all you know in your reality is negativity, pessimism, criticism, judgment? How do you suddenly flip the switch in your mind to do something it has never done before? So I thought about this for a while, and this is what I told them. Start small, 10 minutes a day, or whatever they could commit to. 10 minutes of appreciation a day, that's all. And then what happened was, once they started witnessing the changes, once they started witnessing the magic on the physical and material plane in their lives, they were able to start using their own experience to justify what was happening and to begin rewiring their brain. That's why I say your own experience is most important. Not what I tell you here, not what anyone tells you, not the news, the books, the social media, your family, or even your therapist. There is so much information available at our fingertips these days that it can be both a good and a bad thing. But either way, that is just knowledge. It's just information. And do you know what weighs more than knowledge to me? Experience. Knowing. Someone can tell you, this meal is gross. But then you try it yourself and you love it. Them telling you is the knowledge. You experiencing it is the knowing. Does that make sense? They might say, this procedure is super painful, but you won't know if it is until you actually experience it for yourself. So much of how we operate these days is we assume our experience is going to be other people's experience, but it's not. Your own experience is your own, and that is the most validating thing about you. Your experience is more validating than somebody else's information or knowledge. Do you see what I'm getting at? So what does your experience tell you about life? About what feels good, about what feels bad, about the kind of life you want to have? What does your experience tell you about how you're living your life right now? When you start infusing your days with gratitude and you feel really good, can you hold on to that experience if somebody else says it doesn't work for them? So just see. Just try and see what your experience is before you accept or dismiss something. And then my second pitch usually is, what do you have to lose? If I told you there was a secret to happiness that took no extra time and cost you no money, would you want it? I bet if it was a material thing, you would say, of course I do. But that's gratitude. You're going to think thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day either way. Why not spend some of those thinking about good things instead of negative ones? If it's between anxiety or appreciation and you had a choice, what would you choose? And again, you can start so small. 10 minutes a day. Set a timer and spend 10 minutes being grateful for something, anything, or for a bunch of things. 10 minutes. That's it. For 21 days. And if 21 days freaks you out, put it in perspective. It's 3 weeks of your life. How fast have the past 3 weeks gone for you? It's a blink in your entire existence. But the key here is you have to really commit yourself to the feeling of genuine gratitude. None of that empty surface gratitude. None of that, I'll set a timer for 10 minutes and pretend to find things to be grateful for, but really I'm scrolling Instagram or going through my work emails. You gotta make it real for you if you want to see real change. So maybe you choose to do it in the mornings. Maybe it's making a list or saying 5 to 10 things you're grateful for out loud every day on your drive to work. Maybe it's feeling grateful for every dinner you eat for 3 weeks. Maybe it's like me, and when you wake up, you take a couple minutes before you start your day to feel that feeling of gratitude and appreciation fill your body. Or maybe you spend your showers every day in gratitude. Your options are literally endless. And you can do as much or as little as you want. But I will say, the more you do, the more things you find to be grateful for, the faster results you will see in your life. But choose what works for you and what you're called to do, and more importantly, what you can stick to for 21 days. When it comes to this kind of work, listening to me, reading the books, researching, that's all great. That is all a wonderful foundation. But you need to actually do the actions. You need to do the physical work on yourself and implement these changes. You need to wake up in the morning and choose to do the gratitude, however you choose to do it. Otherwise, it's all just beautiful speculation, and you won't see tangible results. You can think about having a clean house all you want, but until you get up, grab the broom, and start sweeping, that clean house is just an idea. It's just a concept. Okay, I'm going to wrap up with the most magical thing about gratitude here. As I said, in this life, you get what you give. And the beauty of gratitude is it's totally free to give. And the effect it has on people is incredible. And therefore, the effect it'll have on you is incredible. Time for another example. So there's this park by me that I frequent quite often. I love this park. It brings me a lot of joy and a lot of peace. It's beautiful. It has a variety of landscapes. Simply put, it's an oasis. And as I was walking through it the other day, I saw a worker, or a volunteer, I'm really not sure, and she was weeding, watering, maintaining the park. And so I went up to her and said, "Thank you so much for doing all this. This park means a lot to me, and I really appreciate your hard work so that I get to enjoy it." And her reaction both warmed and broke my heart. She was so shocked and taken aback and fumbled and said something like, "Oh, yeah, of course. You're welcome. I'm so glad you like it here. Thanks for letting me know." And then she gave me the most genuine smile that made me smile back at her in return. And then we went our separate ways. I try to give as much genuine appreciation to people as I can. Don't you like feeling appreciated? Don't you like it when people say thank you and genuinely mean it for something you said or did? I make a conscious effort to show my appreciation to people whenever I can. Whether it's something like that or voice noting a friend or loved one when I'm reminded of something they did for me. I also think telling people why you're grateful adds to it. Because again, the words thank you really have become empty for the most part. And it feels so wonderful for me when I light people up like that. I don't do it for that. I do it because I love to. because it fills me to remind people how incredible they are and how valued they are. If we all appreciated each other a little bit more and judged each other a little bit less, I think the world would be in a very different place than it is right now. All right. There's a lot here in this episode. There's a lot of ways to start incorporating gratitude into your life, or endless ways of adding more gratitude in your life if it's already a practice that you do. And again, you can start as big or as small as you want. No rules. Find what works for you and just see. If anything, I invite you to just have a curiosity. I mean, we are talking about your happiness at the end of the day. Can you offer yourself some curiosity to that? To how to attain more joy? To how to attain more positivity? So just try and see what happens. And let me know. Connect with me on the socials. My Instagram handle here is @GratitudeGrowthPodcast. And let me know how it's going for you, especially if this is the first time you're incorporating gratitude into your life. And if it's not, if you have more ways, share with me. I always love to find new ways because it's endless. It is so beautifully endless. So I'm always here if you want to share more ideas. Always here. All right, my prompt of gratitude to finish off this episode. Let's go with this last example that I gave along that trend. Can you think of something someone ever said or did for you that you're genuinely grateful for? Can be something really little or something really big. Maybe they just brought you a chocolate bar on a day that you really needed one. Maybe they gave you some hard advice that really changed your life or changed your career. Maybe they were just a shoulder to lean on when things got really tough. Or maybe they were somebody who supported your dreams and now you're somewhere and you're just so grateful for that one conversation they had with you. Whatever it is, can you think of it? Can you hold on to that feeling of genuine gratitude in your heart? And can you say thank you? And really mean it? And then maybe go shoot them a text and let them know. Alrighty. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. And until next time, much love. Bye for now. Thanks so much for checking out today's episode. If you resonated with what you heard, hit that subscribe button and maybe send it to someone who you think might need to hear today's message. If you want to stay up to date and connect with us on the socials, our Instagram handle is @GratitudeGrowthPodcast. Until next time, stay grateful and keep growing.